Okay, so you've got that shiny new phone in your hands, right? The feeling is awesome. But then there's the old one. It's got years of your digital life on it. So how do you pass it on without, handing over all your private data too? Let's make sure you get this right. And this is probably the most important thing you need to get your head around. We used to think of a reset as just, deleting files. But today, oh, it is so much more powerful. A modern factory reset doesn't just wipe the slate clean. It's more like burning the only map that leads to your buried treasure. And that's the real question, isn't it? Because if you get this wrong, you're looking at one of two potential disasters. Either your data isn't really gone, or you accidentally trigger an anti-theft feature that turns the phone into a useless brick for the next person. Yeah, we're gonna make sure neither of those things happen. Okay, so before we even think about touching that reset button, we really need to stop and appreciate what exactly it is we're protecting. I mean, this isn't just a collection of apps and settings, right? It's literally your digital life. Seriously, think about it for a second. Your private conversations, all your vacation photos, your banking logins, it is all in there. Handing that over without securing it first, it's like leaving the front door to your entire life wide open. So just remember, we're not just cleaning a device, we are locking down a vault. All right, so let's get into the stuff that most guides just kind of gloss over. There are two hidden traps here that can cause some major headaches if you're not careful. This comparison really shows you just how much things have changed. A few years ago, a reset was basically like tearing the index out of a book. I mean, sure, it was harder to find stuff, but the chapters were still there if you knew where to look. But today, thanks to encryption, it's like throwing the entire book into an incinerator. The data is technically still there, but it's just meaningless digital ash, completely unreadable. And this is trap number 2. It's called Factory Reset Protection, or FRP. And don't get me wrong, it's a great anti-theft tool. If a thief grabs your phone and tries to wipe it, this lock kicks in and stops them cold. But here's the catch. If you, the real owner, forget to sign out of your Google account before you do the reset, you trigger the exact same lock. The phone will then demand your old password, turning it into a total paperweight for whoever gets it next. So how do we dodge these traps? Well, it all comes down to doing a little prep work. This is not something you want to rush. Think of this checklist as your first, and most important, line of defense. Okay, this 4-step checklist is basically your roadmap to a totally safe reset. First, back up your data. Obvious, right? Photos, contacts, the whole deal. Second, and this is a big one people forget, back up your authenticator apps. If you don't, you could lock yourself out of your own accounts. Now, step 3, this is the absolute game changer. You have to manually remove your Google and Samsung accounts. This is what tells the phone, hey, it's cool to disable that SRP lock. And last but not least, don't forget to physically pop out your SIM card and any SD cards. Okay, checklist complete. Our data is safely backed up, and that sneaky FRP trap has been totally disarmed. Now, and only now, are we actually ready to do the final wipe. This is the point of no return. Now, this part is pretty straightforward. You're just going to dive into your phone settings. Look for something called System or maybe General Management on a Samsung. From there, you should find Reset options. Go ahead and select Erase All Data or Factory Data Reset. The phone's going to ask you to confirm, maybe a couple of times, and it's serious. Once you hit that final button, there is no going back. So the phone is going to reboot, and this might take a few minutes, so just be patient. But listen, don't just walk away and assume the job is done. You've got to verify. You need to be 100% sure it was a complete success. So what are we looking for? You want to see this, the welcome screen, the brand new setup screen, exactly like when you first took the phone out of the box. It'll be asking you to pick a language, connect to Wi-Fi, all that stuff. If you see this screen, you've nailed it. It's a perfectly clean slate. All right, so you've done the reset, you've seen the welcome screen, but there's still that little voice in the back of your head, right? The one whispering, but what if a super hacker can still get my stuff back? Let's shut that voice down right now with a little bit of science. This timeline really tells the whole story. Go back a decade, and that paranoia would have been totally justified. Deleted data was often pretty easy for researchers to recover, but then everything changed. Android brought in FRP to stop thieves, and, this is the crucial part, it made file-based encryption mandatory for all new phones. Because of that one change, the security we have today is on a completely different planet. The magic behind all this is something called cryptographic shredding. It sounds cool, and it is. Instead of wasting time trying to overwrite every single photo and message, which would take forever, the reset does something way smarter. It just finds that one tiny master encryption key and destroys it. Poof, gone. And without that key, all those gigabytes of your old data just become random, incomprehensible digital noise. It is literally an unsolvable puzzle. So let's circle all the way back to our big question. Is a factory reset enough before you sell your phone? And the answer is a very confident yes, but with one huge condition. Only if you followed that pre-reset checklist first. The reset itself is what secures the data, but it's the checklist that makes sure you don't fall into any of the traps along the way. And that really is the ultimate takeaway here. When you follow these steps, you take that old phone from being a potential data liability, a ticking time bomb of your private info, and you turn it into a secure, valuable asset that you can sell or trade in with total peace of mind. You haven't just protected yourself, you've set the device up perfectly for its next life. Your digital vault is officially secure.